Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Fun Stuff Friday and we have some fun stuff from my birthday. I know my birthday was a while ago. I have not gotten to all of the things that I got for my birthday, but these are called the Veritas. They are a artist quality colored pencil from Christian Art Gifts. This was a gift to me from Jen. Um, she knew that it would be one of those sets of pencils that I did not have in my collection, and she was very right. I did not have these in my collection. Now I do. I, of course, have swatched them, so I will show you the swatch video, and then we will do our testing and check these out. Like I said, they are a smaller set of pencils. They are a 48 set of pencils. They are made with incense cedar wood, which is interesting. It does make them smell really good. They are a wax-based pencil. They come in this little tube, and in the top of the tube it has, of course, a little foamy with a pencil sharpener. I have gone through and numbered them all. You will not find these numbers on the ends of your pencils. I have gone through and numbered them all so that I can find where my pencils are. So I'm going to do the swatch. They are not in perfect order, but that's what happens when you have no names or numbers on your pencils. You sort them out by eye and hope that you get them all in the right order. If you don't, then you sort them out again. And I haven't had time to sort them out again. So I have done the swatch and we will take a look at that. Grab your cup of coffee. It will take about 3.5 minutes. So it won't take very long. I will, of course, speed that up with some music. And then we will get to looking at the swatch and looking at the pencils themselves and doing some testing. All right, guys, sit back, relax, and grab your coffee. I will be right back. Okay, so that wasn't too bad. So as you can see, we have our white into our yellows, our peach tones into our oranges, into our reds here, and into our pinks. And then we have our purples. This one here on the end of the pencil looked like a really, really deep purple, but it's more of a purple gray, so I'm not purpley browny gray kind of color. So it's sort of in there, but it's sort of not in there. It's fine. And then we have, of course, our blues into our blue greens, into our greens, into our browns, our grays, and then we have silver and gold. So it has a good range of colors. I'm going to pull number 3, number 10, and number 25. So there's number 25, number 3, and number 10. And those are the ones that we're going to start with for our water test and our smudge test. So I'm going to switch on over to the close-up camera here, and we're going to take a look at the pencils. So as you can see, it says Veritas color on the pencils. It does not have any other markings on the pencils beyond the company name. I did go through and add the little dots on the end of the pencil, and I did glue them down with Mod Podge so they won't come off, so that I can find the colors that I'm looking for. So we're going to sharpen these. I haven't sharpened them yet. I don't typically sharpen pencils before I swatch unless they are broken. So I will sharpen these. So a couple of turns of the sharpener made a really good tight nice tip. Also, you can see there's not a lot of wood crawling up the barrel, so like the lead, so that tells me, oops, would help if I showed you. So that tells me that they're fairly well centered. And with pencils that are dipped at the tip, you can't really tell how centered they are until you sharpen them. And what will tell you how centered they are is how much of the wood is climbing up the lead. So if you get a fairly even sharpen around the lead, you can pretty much guarantee that they are fairly well centered. If you get a lot of wood up one side of the lead, you can tell that they are not centered on that side. So again, fairly even sharpen all the way around. Nice long points, really nice points. All right, so we've got our testing here. So our water, our smudge, then of course we've got our 3-color blend, our rainbow blend, blenders, and white. So those are the typical tests that I usually do for my own use. You can do different tests and you can do your own thing, absolutely. So we're going to start with the red. And I must say, just sharpening these made them feel a lot better than they did unsharpening them. So that tells me that they've got a bit of a coating on them. So if you want to avoid that scratchiness from the coating, I would suggest sharpening them before using them. They are a little bit drier than I was hoping, but they're not scratchy anymore. When I was doing this swatch, I did find that they were a little scratchy, where I had to press a little bit harder, and I think that's because they had a coating on them. So I'm just putting down as much color as I normally would on a typical coloring, making sure that I've got a good layer of pigment on the page and covering up as much of that white spot as possible. I'm going to dust that off, make sure that we don't have any remnants of that coloring. And then we're going to do yellow. Again, a little bit of a harder pencil, so make sure that you layer. You're not going to get a one and done too easily out of these pencils. If I didn't verify with the company itself that they were wax based on their website, I would have assumed that they were oil based. They're a very, very hard wax. On Amazon, they do have a list of the colors. However, unless you're really good at verifying what the Peloton numbers are in your pencil, which I am not even going to try, figuring out what those colors are is a little bit difficult. Which I think is a little silly. If you're going to put names and numbers on your Amazon listing, you should really put names and numbers on your pencils. Personally, that's my thoughts on it. The blue is a little bit scratchy, even after sharpening. So, but they do layer well. They do put down that color nice and thick, and they are able to color the whole space. Now Jen got these and knew about these because she uses them or used them. They are one of her very first sets of pencils that she started using when she first started coloring. So I'd never heard of them before. So okay, so this is a water one. So we're going to take our water pen. I was about to smudge that. We're going to take our water pen and we're going to make sure that it's wet, which it is. It's a little too wet, so I'm just going to take some of that off. Now, when I check for water resistance, I don't expect it to be 100% waterproof because of the fact that it is pigment. If you scrub any colored pencil, you're going to get water movement or color movement with water. The reason why I do this test is because a lot of things that I use for accents, such as gel pen, stickles, Wink Estella, stuff like that, all have a water base to them. So we're going to test the red. And the red does move a little bit. And so does the yellow. So they are definitely not water resistant. They do move with water, and so does the blue. So what I would suggest is that when you put down your pencils, that you make sure that you use something to blend them into the page and put a barrier between that wax and your water-based materials. All right, so knowing that they move with water tells me that they're going to move with my hand. 9 times out of 10, if they're water resistant, they are, or not water resistant, they are not smudge resistant either. And of course, the reason why I do the smudge test is because the chemicals in your hand, the chemicals in your skin, can move pigment across your page. So you can finish coloring an area and move your hand across it to color another area and end up moving that pigment that you just laid down into an area that you didn't want it to be. I know this because I have done it several times and it's frustrating. So knowing whether or not they are smudge resistant is something I need to know for my chemical makeup because I know that it happens with my skin. If you don't have this issue, you may not need this testing. I personally would do it anyway just to verify that it's not going to smudge with your skin. I'm not going to state absolutely that they are going to move because everybody's skin chemical composition of everybody's skin and sweat and oils in their skin and everything else is different per person. So what moves for me may not move for you, which is always an interesting thing. With the water test, what moves when I put water down is still going to move when you put water down. However, the smudge test is very dependent upon your own composition. Just making sure that I get a good level of color. Like I said, the blue has some scratchy bits in them, so I know that there's really hard wax in these pencils. But they do lay down color quite nicely. And they build up color, which is good. Alright, so I'm going to dust that off, make sure that there's no amount of crumbling or excess on the page. We're going to take the red, and as you can see, it definitely moves. Then we're going to take the yellow, it also moves, and then we're going to take the blue, which also moves. So usually I can tell before I even do the smudge test with the water test whether or not it's going to move. So we definitely know that they move. Let's see if they blend. So we're going to take our pinks, and this one, let's take 11, 12, and 13. And I'm just going to verify which is the lightest here. Okay. So we're going to start off with number 11. And I'm going to sharpen these because I haven't sharpened them yet. Give them a bit of a sharpen. Get rid of that coating that I know now is on there. I have been researching these a little bit, and they do seem to be one of the chosen pencils to do Bible journaling in the Christian communities. So if you are a Bible journalist, you may find that you know these pencils well, or you may need to know these pencils well. I don't do any type of journaling, so I like to color though, and pretty colors always make me happy. So I'm just putting down a good layer and working this pink into the page. This is a fairly dark pink, almost a red pink. And we're going to bring it out. Now with the feel of these pencils, I can say probably that I'm going to be putting a couple of layers down, then putting down the next color, and then building up that color in between. They do seem to be more of a layering pencil than a smudging pencil. And then the next one is this one. Going into that soft area there. Now, would I call these an artist grade pencil? I have not determined yet. Would I call them a good pencil for coloring on coloring books? Also a little bit undetermined. They are going down on the Nina cardstock fairly nicely, though I do find that some do tend to scratch at first. So with this blending exercise here, it's going to tell me whether or not these pencils will blend together and whether or not that scratchiness will continue after the first layer. Because sometimes you just got to get a layer down for the pencil to build on top of to eliminate that paper scratch. So right now I'm just going over that darker edge, bringing that together with the lighter color here. Just blending those together. And I've got a little divot in the paper, so it's driving me a little crazy. I'm trying to cover up the divot in the paper. The things we do. Alright, now I'm just putting down the lightest color here. Again, blending it into that softer color. And then we're going to take that softer color area there, and we're just going to finish that blend. And then the lighter color again. I'm leaving that end piece there white, and I'm going to pull the white pencil, and we're going to finish that off with some white, I think. Just because we'll call it a four color blend. Just because I like the want to see how well that white blends into it. And it gives it a good eye look. So we've got a dark pink, a medium pink, a light pink, and into white. So it blends quite nicely, which is good. I'm going to leave those out for our blender blends. Now we're going to do our rainbow blend, and we're going to do some red. And I gave myself a little grid here because, yeah, I put that line up too high. So this was accidental, but I'm going to use it to my advantage here. Again, we're going to have to build that color up, so we're going to put down a good layering here. And we're going to leave that tail open for the orange. And then we're going to come in with the yellow. We're going to start down here because we need a tail for the green. And then we need our yellow color. The yellow is quite smooth. And then we need our orange. Now, in order to get a lighter orange, it's better to start with your yellow. To get a darker orange, start with your red. So now we're going to go back to the red. And then we're going to go back to the yellow. Now remember, when you are blending colors together such as red and yellow, or even blue and yellow to create green, you're going to have color transfer on your pencil. So make sure that you wipe off your yellow pencil before you move on to the next color. Otherwise, you're going to have orange added to your next color. Okay, and this is going to be our last layer of the yellow. And as you can see, we've got red, orange, and yellow. Now we're going to go in with our blue, and we're going to start down here with our blue. We're going to go into our yellow, creating that green. Now I'm going to wipe off the yellow, make sure I've got all the red off of it. And we're going to go back over. And just like with the red, the more yellow you add, the lighter the green. The more blue you add, the darker the green. I say that like you guys don't know. Also depends upon how dark your blue is as well. This is as the bluest blue that I could see, the truest blue. All right, now we're going to go over it again with the yellow. All right, so we do have a mixture of our rainbow blend. So we have red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. However, they are not as smooth as I would like them to be. They did take a lot more layers than other pencils that I've used, but they do blend, they do combine. Just be careful with transference. So as you can see there on the end of the yellow, we've got some blue transference. So make sure that you wipe off your pencil before you put it back so that you don't color something and end up with blue or orange on your pencil. Alright, so I'm going to use, because it is a harder pencil, I'm going to use the Derwent blender. And we're going to start with the pinks. So we're going to start here with the darkest color. And I might even add some red. Let's throw some red in here too. So we're going to start with red. And I'm not going over the line. I'm just bringing them up to each other. Putting down, making sure I put down enough pigment for the blender to move. Okay, so we've got the red there. Sorry guys, I didn't realize I was off screen. And then we've got our dark pink here. Again, making sure that I have enough pigment on the page to move. And then we'll use our medium pink. And then we'll use our light pink. Like so. We're going to dust that all off. So as you can see, the transition lines are quite prominent. So we're going to blend those transition lines together. So I'm just going to make sure that my blender is clean. And we're going to start here on the light pink. And we're going to blend it into the medium pink here. Filling in all that white spot. And then moving it into that red. Like so. So it did blend those lines together quite well. It didn't pick up a whole lot. It picked up some. So I'm just going to wipe that off. And then we're just going to go back over it very lightly. And clear up some of the white spot that's left behind. Like so. So we do have a fairly clear blend between each area. There's not, the lines between each area are blurred enough to progress those colors into each other. So that does work quite well with the Derwent blender. Now we're going to do the same thing and see how the white does for blending. Now if this white is very opaque, it is going to add a lot of dampening color. So it's going to gray it out quite a bit. Now if the white in here is translucent, it's not going to gray it out as much, and you will still see the actual colors. So using the red is a good thing because that will tell me how much it is going to dampen those colors down. Alright, and then this one. finally this one. Again, putting down enough color that the white pencil has the ability to move it around and blend it over. If you don't put down enough color, you're not going to get a good blend. Because the blender choice is not going to have enough pigment to move into those areas between color. Alright, now we're going to start at our lightest color, which is our pink. Our light pink. Then we're going to move into our medium color. These are not blending as well with the white as I found that they did with the Derwent blender. Now the white does seem to be quite translucent, so it is putting down a little bit of white, but you can still see the difference, the different colors. So not as well of a blend as the blender pencil. I find that they're a little jutty where this took the pigment right into each color. So I would not suggest blending these with the white, in my own personal opinion. Again, they are a wax-based pencil. On Amazon, they're $24.67 for a 48 set, which does work out to be approximately 51 cents per pencil. Now, for our testing, they are not water resistant. They are not smudge resistant. They will do a 3 to 4 color blend, and they do a rainbow blend. I did find that they work better with the Derwent blender than the white. Now, somewhere on this mess here, I have a Caran d'Ache blender, and I'm going to test the Caran d'Ache blender stumpy that I have here on this part here. So I'm just going to bring that in just to see how well the Caran d'Ache does. I'm going to get rid of that red that I had on there. Okay, that's better. It's a really, really small stumpy, so let's start in the white. And then into the color. It works pretty good with the Caran d'Ache, actually. It actually works quite a bit better than the Derwent. I was thinking with them being a harder pencil, the Derwent might work better, but the Caran d'Ache seems to work better, which is good to know. So there is our blend with the Caran d'Ache. So I think you're going to get a brighter, nicer blend with the Caran d'Ache than you are with the Derwent. Even when blending colors together, the Caran d'Ache seems to do a better job than just the pencils themselves. So yeah, I would definitely use the Derwent pencil blender instead of I would use the Caran d'Ache instead of the Derwent. There we go. Words are hard, people. I'm telling you, words are hard. Okay, we're going to color with these for just a moment here. We're going to color in these flowers, or at least one of them, and maybe take some greens and do some leaves. So I'm bringing in that dark color into those shadow areas. I like the colors. They're quite nice. Definitely a smaller set, so you will find that there's not a lot of variation in the colors. So you will have to utilize your own skills of blending as well as hand pressure and that sort of thing to give you your variants. So the harder you press, of course, and the more layers you put down, the darker the pencil is going to be. This one is going down pretty nicely. Not having issues putting down the color, which is good. Just put that shadow in there. There's another shadow over here as well, but I'm going to do that with the darker, or the medium tone, not the darker tone. The medium tone, because it's further out, away from the darker tone. It's closer to the light source at the edge of the petal. Alright, now we're going to take our medium tone. Just blending it into that darker color. So as you can see with the coloring part itself, we're able to blend those colors together, which is why I put these wonderful little pictures on the swatch charts, so that we can tell in a real coloring experience what we need to do to create and to blend and to see what the pencils are able to do more than just a square. Because any pencil can do a square. Not all pencils can do the depth of a flower or the depth of a monarch butterfly. And it gives you, something pretty on your swatch chart. Okay, now we're going to go in with the light pink. And we're going to blend all those colors together. Like so. And like I said, they are blending very, very nicely together. So they are doing what they're supposed to do. They do take a layering patience. So if you are not one that enjoys layering, these may not be the best pencils for you. If you don't enjoy putting down several colors to create a different color, this also may not be the set for you. Like I said, they are a smaller set. They are only 48 pencils, which, if you enjoy blending colors and creating your own colors, that's definitely one of those things that is really good about this set, is it gives you that ability to create different colors. Just going to use that yellow. There we go. And there is our pretty little flower. All right, so we're going to do the butterfly here. So we've got our red and our orange, our yellow, and we're going to create the orange ourselves in the butterfly's wings. Because we know that they can blend. So let's try blending them in a coloring situation. All right, so there's our red. And again, we're going to go right over top, especially on the edges with the yellow. Which is going to give us our orange. Like so. So that has given us a red and an orange and a yellow. Now we're just going to take a bit of a brown here. Let's do number 37. And we will color his little body. And there we have our butterfly. All right. Now we're going to do a leaf. So I need number 31 and number 34. I'll sharpen number 31. All right. So we're going to do a couple of leaves here. I'm going to take the darker color here, which is number 34 in my numbering system. I can't say that it's number 34 for you because, of course, everybody is going to number their colors differently. So this is just what I've numbered them. And then we're going to take this one here. And we're going to blend those colors together. Putting in our light areas as well as our dark areas. Alright, so there is that. Now the great thing about this is, because I am going to store them in their little tin for now, their little tube, is that we can put them back in and we can see all of the numbers. All right, I'm going to put the lid back on. Now it does come with a little sharpener. I have not used the little sharpener, so I cannot say how good that sharpener is. So that is the Veritas Artist Quality colored 48 set colored pencils from the Christian Art Gifts. A good selection of colors. They blend very nicely in the application of coloring on even the cardstock here. On the testing areas, they did not pass the water or the smudge test. They did definitely move with water and they do smudge, so make sure that you take precautions on that. Now, one of the precautions is what I did here with the Caran d'Ache blender. Now, with the Caran d'Ache blender, I do find that it does protect the color. So if I was to take, did I do this one? I think I did this one with Caran d'Ache too. But if I take the water brush, it does not move. If I take my finger, it doesn't move. So the Caran d'Ache does give a level of protection for your pencils against water and smudge. So if you do blend with your Caran d'Ache blender, you may find that your pencils don't smudge or don't move with water. They did work okay with the Derwent blender, but I do find that they do work better with the Caran d'Ache. The white did blend it out of the white spot, however, it did leave those blending lines. Instead of blending them together, it just chopped them up. Like I said, they are a wax-based pencil. I do find that they are a little bit harder, and I am finding that some are a little scratchy. They do have a list of colors and numbers and names on the website, like on the Amazon site. However, I find it completely useless since there are no numbers or names on the pencil itself. I don't know how to tell what the pigment mixture is for each pencil. I'm quite sure there are many people out there that can color with a pencil and say, yeah, this is blue mixed with this color, and this color. I am not one of those people. So to me, that information is a lack of information. A set of 48 on Amazon is $24.67. Again, that's only 51 cents per pencil. However, for the quality that I'm finding these to be, there are cheaper pencils out there that are a little bit better. Just FYI. Nothing against these pencils, however, they are a little expensive, little on the high side for what you get, in my opinion. Alright guys, so that is the ins and outs of the Veritas colored pencils. Veritas also means truth. So in full disclosure and full truthfulness, I do find that they are a little hard. Some pencils I am finding are a little scratchy. Even after sharpening, they still have a level of scratchiness to them. They do blend very well. They do work well with the Caran d'Ache blender, as well as blending into each other as colors go. However, I do find that the white is not a good alternative to a blender, as it does not move enough of the pigment together to create that blend line. What else was I going to tell you? I think that's about it. They are not water resistant. They do move with water, so make sure that you do seal your page before you start using some water pigment, alternate water media, that's the word, on these pencils. So if you are going to use a Wink of Stella, Stickles, gel pen, anything like that over top of these pencils, make sure that you go over the area with a Caran d'Ache blender first, and that will give you some water resistance. Yeah, so other than that, these are the Veritas colored pencils. Veritas meaning truth. They are a nice set of pencils. They are expensive in my opinion for what they are. They do not have any names. They do not have any numbers. I have numbered them myself, so any of the numbers that I do say I'm using throughout the video are my own numbers. They are not the numbers that are um, associated with the pencils. Thank you, Jen, very much for adding to my collection a set of pencils that I never knew existed. I appreciate that. They will be added to the collection, and I will use them. I have to use them in a coloring book to be able to tell you how well they work in a coloring book. I have not done that yet. So if I do find that they don't work well in a coloring book, I will let you know. All right, guys, with that, I would like to say thank you all very much for watching. Of course, always remember to like, comment, and subscribe to any YouTube artists that you enjoy. And of course, always remember to relax, color, and stay safe. Until next time, thank you all very much for joining me. You have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye-bye for now.